What's going on, guys? Boss6 here, back to your video, and today, here to give you guys my NFL Week 8 predictions. We are already halfway through the NFL season of 2025. It's kind of strange. Before I get into my predictions, though, I do want to give two disclaimers really quickly. One, apologize if I sound a little bit off. I'm battling allergies right now. Since the weather is getting colder, usually around the fall, my allergies start to get a little bit dried up. So I do apologize if I do sound a little bit stuffy. But I'm doing okay. It's just these allergies are just a pain in the ass. And number two, I won't be able to do any noon games noon games because around maybe 3, I gotta go up to my work because I'm gonna be working a play up there, and I'm gonna make me some more moolah, some more extra time. So I do apologize for not being able to do another noon game for the second week in a row, but I will be doing Sunday night's game, and hopefully that'll be good there. So without further ado, we still don't know who's really all that good in the league right now, but we might have a little bit of a clue as to who might be a Super Bowl contender. So without further ado, let's get into these predictions. Alright, so starting off with the Thursday night game tomorrow, we've got the Minnesota Vikings versus the LA Chargers. The Vikings, tough loss against the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz nearly got his revenge against his former team, but unfortunately couldn't get the job done. And the Vikings right now, they're battling through injuries. I about said Mike McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy is still battling an knee injury. We don't know when he's going to be coming back. It doesn't help that Carson Wentz is still starting games in 2025 for reasons. He's going to be starting against the Chargers. They did come up close against Philly, and I'll be completely honest. Even though Wentz threw a couple picks in the game, one resulted in a pick six, quite honestly, if he didn't make those bad turnovers, and if he was able to throw some touchdowns for almost every time they went into the red zone, they could have honestly won the game against Philly, but unfortunately they did not. And it kind of sucks too, because the Vikings on paper seem like a good team. It's just the problem is they are just injured beyond belief, and they really don't have a quarterback right now. Meanwhile, the Chargers, speaking of injuries, good lord, this team is just battered to hell and back. Joe Welt's still out with an injury. They're losing linemen left, right, and center. They're down to their third and seventh string, linemen. It's honestly ridiculous. The Chargers, they just got blasted by the Colts this past week, and they're just in football hell. And man, it sucks too, because this team was looking good for those first couple of weeks, but they're just getting bit by the injury bug, and it's not looking all that great right now for the Chargers. So, this game, man, this one might be a bit of an ugly game here, because both teams are just injured, and it's Carson Wentz against Justin Herbert, so I guess that has something going for it. I don't really know, man. I really do not know. I guess I'll go with the Chargers because at least their defense is still doing okay. The Vikings defense is still solid. Again, they're just beaten up. So you have that going for it, but I don't know. This one's going to be this one's not going to be a pretty game. I can certainly say that, but I'll give the NFL credit. The Thursday night games have actually been a little bit better than I expected it to be. So, this one might not be a great game, but I'm going to go with the Chargers with this one because it is home field advantage as well. Following that, oh God, we've got the New Jersey Jets versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The Jets. It somehow gets even more bleak as the weeks go on, man. This team is dog shit. This has been one of the worst seasons this team has had in about 5 years. It's bad, dude. It's really, really, really bad. They're 0-7 right now, the only winless team in the season. And it's just not looking good for them right now. They lost to the Panthers this past week. Justin Fields had a pretty bad hit. Tyrod Taylor was starting the game. This team has nothing going for them right now. And it kind of sucks because I thought they were going to have at least something going for them, especially with Aaron Glenn under center. But, I don't think this team's going to be doing anything. They might go 0-17, honestly. Like, this might be the only chance for a team to go 0-17, and who else better than the Jets? Meanwhile, Cincy, they're keeping their hopes alive by having old-ass Joe Flacco go out and ball against the Pittsburgh Steelers in a really, really, really damn good game. Like the funny thing about how Cincy won that game is that they were literally doing the bare minimum, and yet they were still winning games. It was like Brady under center, where they were running inside slant routes and like screen passes, and that's how they were winning the game. Like, it was ridiculous, quite honestly. So yeah, that was something, and it does suck too. And this team is still without Trey Hendrickson, by the way. Like, Henderson is still out, and this defense is still really bad, but they were able to win because the Steelers they're a very confusing team. But yeah, I don't think this will be a close contest whatsoever. I do think the Bengals are going to win this game here. I don't think this is going to be much of a contest unless Joe Flacco resorts to, well, old Joe Flacco, so I guess there's that. But who knows? Maybe Flacco will get his revenge over the Jets. But yeah, I don't think the Bengals are going to lose this game. And Jets fans, I am sorry. Because, yeah, I apologize for that. Following that, oh Lord, we've got the San Francisco 49ers versus the Houston Texans. The Niners coming off with a big win over the Atlanta Falcons this past Sunday on Sunday Night Football. And a game that was pretty frustrating to watch, considering that I felt like every single play they were running or every single drive they were doing the same damn play. And it kind of got a little infuriating every once in a while. It doesn't help they didn't throw to George fucking Kittle, but I certainly digress. But I gotta give credit where credit's due. They were able to stop the run, especially against Bijan Robinson. And CMC is looking like he was back in his old form, which is always a good thing. But yeah, despite the fact they are still battered beyond belief, not only losing Bryce Huff due to an injury, but also losing Brendel as well. So yeah, this team is just racking up injuries, but they're still winning games. Meanwhile, the Texans, fucking hell, dude. There was no way that game should have been as close as it was against Seattle. Because, let's be honest, Seattle was kind of fucking around with Houston all game. But, man, Houston just could not do anything on offense and or defense. Well, I wouldn't say that. They did get a couple picks on Darnold, but that was when the game was really not a contest whatsoever. But, yeah, Houston, their offense is terrible. Their O-line is not good. Like, C.J. Stroud is not looking good out there. The only thing they have going for it is their defense. But even then, that's starting to get a little shaky, if you ask me. But this one's going to be an interesting game here. Because I do think the Texans might have a chance to stop the 49ers. The problem is, will they be able to stop CMC? We can only speculate. So I'm going to go with the Niners for this one. They're just a more well-balanced team, despite the fact they are injured beyond belief. Just with Houston, they just need to figure their shit out. They need to figure out that O-line, and they need to figure out that offense quickly, because if not, they are not going to be in a happy place. Following that, we've got the Cleveland Browns versus the New England Patriots. The Browns, they got away with a pretty big win over the Miami Dolphins, and pretty much was basically a blowout because, well, I'll talk about Tua here in a little bit, but my God. Yeah, the Browns, literally Dylan Gabriel did nothing the whole game. Like, it was just mainly Quinshon Judkins just running for touchdowns, and that was about it. Like, the Browns literally did nothing, and they still won the game. That goes to show you how bad the Dolphins are this year. Meanwhile, New England, the Evil Empire never really died, if you're asking me. Like, the ashes of the Evil Empire that really got handed off to the Chiefs never truly died. Like, they crumbled the Empire, the debris was still there, but somebody came in and fixed up the whole damn joint. And lo and behold, we might have a new Empire coming into New England, because Drake May is basically a god among men over there. Like all of the AFC East was supposed to be like, alright, the bad man's gone, we're able to finally take over the division, and Drake May says, hold my nuts, because he is balling against the Titans. against the Titans. They're currently the number one. They're currently number 2, I believe, in the AFC behind the Colts, which I never thought I'd get to hear that in 2025, but here we are. Yeah, New England right now, they're doing really good for themselves. The game was close at half, but after that, it kind of became just New England. So we have that going for it. This one's going to be a bit of an interesting game here because the Browns' defense is really good. They just don't have an offense. And New England has an offense, but their O-line's a little bit questionable. And plus, their defense is not like the greatest thing in the world, but it's somewhat improving. So, the Browns might make it a contest, but I think New England's going to take the victory here. I don't really see New England losing this game unless it's via shenanigans. But we'll have to see. The Browns might be able to put up a fight, but you have Dillon Gabriel as your quarterback. So, yeah, you're going to be doing little to nothing there. All right, and then, oh boy, speaking of Miami, we got the Miami Dolphins versus the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, good God. Both these teams came out with painful losses last week. The Dolphins just got embarrassed by Cleveland. My God, that was probably the worst game Tua ever had. And he's had some bad games. That one was probably the worst. 3 picks, 100 yards, and he just looked terrible out there. And it sucks, too, because Tua, we thought he was going to have, an up-and-coming season. Like, when 2023 happened, we're like, okay, this guy might actually be good. No, he just sucks. He just sucks. And I don't really think Tua is the guy. Quinn Ewers came into the game and got the culture for Mike McDaniel, who's probably going to get fired soon. Yeah, it's just, man, Miami is fucked. They are fucked beyond belief. Speaking of a team that might be fucked, the Falcons. Oh boy, that was a frustrating game that they had on Sunday night because, like I said with the Niners, they ran the same goddamn play every time on every drive, and it got very, 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 very annoying. And I'll be honest, folks, I don't think Penix is the guy. I personally don't. He's got moments here and there, but I just don't think he's gonna fit. Like, he's like another version of Vic, like a less mobile Vic. Like, that's my thing too. And there's even concerns going in that Kirk Cousins might be starting because it looks like Penix may be hurt. So yeah, the Falcons are doubly fucked now. God, this game's not going to be good. This is not going to be a good game. I could see Miami pulling some bullshit off and possibly win the game if Cousins is starting. But Atlanta's pass rush has been really, really, really good. So I will give it to Atlanta for this one, but I don't have any confidence in that. I do think that both teams are not that good. Except for, Atlanta's defense is good. They have an offense. The problem is they just can't figure it out. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Dolphins or the Falcons with this one, but I wouldn't be shocked if Miami gets the victory here. Following that, we have a NFC East matchup between the New Jersey Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Giants, what in the hell was that against Denver? Like, Jesus Christ, dude. And look, I'm not even going to blame Jackson Dart. Okay, yeah, he did have a bad pick. But come on. Dart was playing great up until that pick. And he even tried to save the game at the very end. That was all defense. That was a massive collapse the defense had in that quarter. Like, they were playing 3 really good quarters of football, and then that fourth happened, and all went downhill. That was a disaster on every sense of the word. And honestly, I'd fire the defensive coordinator because that was just atrocious beyond belief. Kim Scadaboo was playing good. Dart was playing good. Again, the pick happened, but he was playing good. But my God, that defense collapsed in the worst way possible. Meanwhile, the Eagles, guess what? The Eagles finally found out they can actually throw the ball. Holy shit. It's like a caveman discovering fire. But yes, the Eagles got away with a victory over the Minnesota Vikings, and that was by far the best game Jalen Hurts ever played since the Super Bowl against Kansas City this past year. Like, I'm not even bullshitting. That was one of the best games Hurts ever played, period. Like, they were able to throw the ball, spread the ball out a little bit more, and their passing game looks really damn good, if you really think about it. What a genius concept. Throw the ball to two of the best receivers in the league. The only thing that is really holding Philly back, they need to fix that run game. They need to give Saquon the ball, and they need him to run more. I don't know if it's just the O-line or if it's just Saquon not being able to find some, or if it's just Saquon not being able to find some room to run. But I don't know, man. I really hope Saquon does get some more touches because he deserves it. In real honesty. I did think he was banged up though, so he might be a little bit questionable coming into the game. But they still got some other good receivers, and not to mention they're bringing back an old veteran and good old Brandon Graham for one more season with the Eagles to help out the defensive line. So, yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to be. And the last time these two teams did play, the Giants managed to get an upset here. I don't think it's going to happen here though. I do think the Eagles are going to get the victory this time over the Giants. The Giants might be able to play them hard, but I'm not really going to hold my breath, especially with how bad that defense was. So, yeah, I think the Eagles are going to get the victory here. They just look like a better team on paper. Unless Kevin Patullo fucks it up, which I wouldn't be shocked, but I do think that the Eagles are going to get the victory here. Following that, we've got the Chicago Bears versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Bears with a big statement win over the New Orleans Saints, and my God, they made Spencer Rattler's life a living hell. That defense looks phenomenal against the Saints. 3 picks. There was, 5 turnovers that they had in the game. It was just a great game all around. Yeah, Williams did throw a pick, but he made it up for a couple touchdowns. But, man, DeAndre Swift was going off on that game. And the Bears right now, their defense looks good. They still kind of need to figure out their offense a little bit, which has basically been the Bears for decades now at this point. But I do think that the Bears are starting to have a really, 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 really good time right now. They won 4 in a row, might possibly be having 5. And considering how their opponent's going to be this upcoming week, they might be going 5-2 if we're being completely honest. Because the Ravens, it's not looking pretty for them. They did come off of a bye week, so they are getting some guys that are going to be back from injury. But I don't know, dude. I don't think this team is really going to be doing anything too noteworthy. You've got Tyler Huntley and you've got Cooper Rush as your quarterbacks. Lamar might be coming back soon, but we shall see. Yeah, it's not looking pretty right now, especially for the Ravens, because this team we all thought was going to be one of the best teams in the league, but man, it's just been all downhill. And to think too, they are dead last in the AFC North. Yes, the Cleveland Browns are beating the Ravens right now, and that is kind of sad if you really think about it. So, yeah, I don't think the Ravens, unless they get some guys back from injury, are really going to be doing much in this game. I do think the Bears are going to be able to hold their own against the Ravens. But if they do lose, I maybe wouldn't be too shocked about that. But I'm going to go with the Bears with this one and keep that win streak going. Following that, in the final 12 o'clock game of this week, we've got the Buffalo Bills versus the Carolina Panthers. The Bills are coming fresh off of a bye week and a much-needed bye week as well, because good Lord, that team needs it and then some, because, the injuries are just piling up for Buffalo, and they need to have a win like this, man. They really do, because they're right now second in their division, which hasn't happened in quite some time. And, yeah, with how New England is running right now, it is not looking pretty for Buffalo. And they need to get some more weapons for Allen, because Josh Allen can't do everything by himself. They need to establish a run game more. They need to give Dalvin Cook the ball more. They need to have some guys make some plays, especially with the Panthers coming off of a win over the Jets. That's kind of saying something, because the Panthers right now, they're 4-3. This is the first time they've been over 500 in 8 years. So at least good for them. The problem is Bryce Young is day-to-day with an ankle injury, so maybe Andy Dalton might start in. But the problem I have, this might be a trap game too. It's just the problem with the Bills right now. They need to establish the rush. Like, they need to stop the run, because if they don't, then it's not going to be pretty for them. So, as much as I would think it would be funny if the Panthers win, I do think the Bills are going to be able to get the victory here. If they don't, they are in massive, massive, massive trouble, because if you can't beat the Panthers that is starting Andy Dalton in 2025, you're going to have a problem on your hands. So I'm going to go with the Bills, but I'm a little skeptical about it. Excuse me. All right, following that, we have an NFC South matchup between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. Oh, boy, both pretty rough losses for these two teams here. The Bucs, oof, that was a rough loss they had against Detroit on Monday. Like, that was the worst loss they've suffered this season. And that was by far the worst game Baker has ever played, period. And it wasn't really all of his fault. There were, I would say, a half of it was and half of it wasn't. That O-line is wrecked with injuries. I keep saying Chris Evans. Mike Evans is out now with a broken collarbone, so there goes your 1,000 receiving career. No more breaking the record for Jerry Rice there, which is pretty unfortunate. But, man, it's just not looking pretty there for the Bucs right now. Like, they're just battered beyond belief. Baker wasn't looking comfortable out there. He got sacked a couple times. He threw some picks. It just wasn't a fun time right now for Tampa Bay fans. Meanwhile, the Saints, I mean, they were keeping it somewhat competitive. God dang, my freaking eyes are watering, man. Ugh. Man, I am stuffy as hell right now. The Saints, well, at least they made it somewhat competitive against the Bears, which isn't saying much, but Rattler looked okay for the most part, but he threw 3 picks. So, I guess there's that. Yeah, the Saints have nothing going for them, and yeah, that's all I really need to say about it. This is going to be an ugly game. I can already tell, because both teams are just beating the shit. Well, I wouldn't say more so the Saints, because they just don't really have a lot of talent on that roster right now. And Tampa Bay, they're just beating the hell. So I would give the Saints the advantage, but I still think Tampa Bay is just a better team right now. I do think that despite Baker did not play that great of a game, he will still make up for it, which I hope he does. But yeah, I don't know if this game is going to be really pretty at all, but I do think that the Bucs are going to be able to get the victory here. Following that, we have an AFC South matchup. We've got the Tennessee Titans versus the Indianapolis Colts. The Titans, well, you made it somewhat close against the Patriots, but then the second half happened. Cam Ward looked okay out there. He looked a little bit better. But they do need to have a head coach. Mike McCoy, he's just there for the interim. And the Titans have nothing going for them right now. They're bad, but you can understand why they're bad. It's not all Cam Ward's fault. Yeah, the turnovers don't look great, but he doesn't have an O-line. He doesn't have any wide receivers. There's no defense. This team just has nothing going for it right now. Son of a bitch. But meanwhile, the Colts, who the fuck thought Indy was going to be not only the number 1 seed in the AFC, but the best team in football right now? Like, did Peyton Manning wake up with a stiffy and gave all of his magic powers to Daniel Jones of all people? Like, seriously, I don't understand how this team is 6-1 right now. It's honestly ridiculous if you think about it. But the Colts were able to manhandle the Chargers. Daniel Jones looked great. Tyler Ward's really coming into his own. But Jonathan Taylor, oh my goodness. Very underrated running back. And he's just making everyone run for their life. I've always loved JT. And I gotta give the Colts, staff a lot of credit too, like especially with the recent passing of Jim Irsay. The Dodgers coming in and really evaluating the field. Like, one of them's on the field looking over to see how the product is going to be. One's in charge of financing. You know, I think the Colts are in a good spot right now in terms of overall management. And I really do like that because I have been a fan of Indy for a while, even before, even after Manning left, when Andrew Luck was still a quarterback. I always liked Indy. So yeah, I've always been a supporter of the Colts, and to see that this team managed to turn around with good management, especially good coaching, I always put the smile on my face. So this could be a trap game because it is a divisional matchup, but I do think the Colts are going to be able to get the victory here. I don't see a reason why they would drop to the Titans unless Daniel Jones decided to go to Danny Derps for a little bit, but I do think that the Colts are going to be able to get the victory here and move on to 7-1 somehow. I don't really know. Speaking of which, we've got the Dallas Cowboys versus the Denver Broncos. The Cowboys, well, they were able to make quick work of the Washington Commanders. Dak Prescott's looking like an MVP. The offense looks great. And even the defense, which has been dog shit for a while, was able to hold their own, even though, again, the Washington is pretty stale and pretty pretty sterile right now. They were able to handle business. Again, CeeDee Lamb came back, which is always good. He picked up where he left off. George Pickens has been a really good companion piece, and they've just been doing really damn good stuff. Now, the Broncos, on the other hand, had one of the most improbable comebacks I've ever seen in my entire life. I already talked about it when I talked about the Giants, but I don't know if Denver's really good. I honestly, after that game, I don't even know if they are really that good because their defense is good. Their offense I'm very questionable about because I don't think Bo Nix is good. Cortland Sutton's a stud, but that's about it. And I like J.K. Dobbins. You know, he's always fun to watch. But, yeah, this is going to be an interesting matchup here because Dallas has a great offense, but Denver has a good defense. Dallas doesn't have much of a defense, but Denver doesn't have much of an offense. So we'll see how this game turns out. And as much as I would love to laugh at the Broncos or laugh at Dallas for losing this game, I think Denver's going to be on the losing stick of this. So I'm going to go with Dallas here for this one because as much as I would love to see Dallas lose, they do look like a better team on paper against the Broncos because, again, I just think Denver's a little suspect, if you ask me, because, again, their offense I'm just not a fan of. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm going to go with the Cowboys here. And then, oh yeah, baby. We're going to have the revenge game to end all revenge games. We've got, for Sunday Night Football, a very anticipated matchup, I should say. We've got the Green Bay Packers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The battle of clickbait sports members. One Tom Grossi versus one urinating tree. The Cheeseheads versus the Yenzers. Aaron Rodgers faces his former team, a team that he's been carrying on his back for a long time, in the Green Bay Packers, this time in different colors. Now, both these teams have polar opposite endings. The Packers were somehow able to sneak away with a win over the Arizona Cardinals of all teams. And look, I do want to credit their offense for coming up clutch in the fourth quarter, but you can't be losing to the Cardinals like that, man. And I could say more about the Cardinals choking more than anything, but I think Green Bay got bailed out by high-end talent, if you're asking me personally. Their defense looked absolutely fantastic. Micah Parsons had probably the best game of his entire career with 3 sacks. They were able to get the Jacoby Brissett a few times in that game, and their defense looks really damn good. The problem is I don't know how to feel about their offense, because there are some good talents on the offense, but it feels like the play calling has been a little more conservative and hasn't really gotten it hasn't really gotten as explosive as it could be on paper. I do think they can work on their offense a little bit more, if you ask me, and that just might be Matt LaFleur, but we can only speculate here. Yeah, excuse me. Meanwhile, the Steelers, on the other hand, you know, even after Aaron Rodgers leaves the Packers, the stats always stay with him. This guy put up 31 points against the Bengals, and they still lost. This has happened to more guys than not in the NFL. You cannot tell me this fucking guy could put up 31 points and yet still lose. It is honestly ridiculous how this happens to Aaron Rodgers. Happens on more times than not, but I certainly digress. But yeah, the Steelers, offense-wise, was looking really good. Like, Rodgers able to get the ball out quick. They need to establish the run game a little bit more. But my God, that defense was dog water against the Bengals. Like, again, they weren't figuring out how to do the simple shit, and yet they were letting Joe Flacco just sling the ball out like it was nothing. So, yeah, that defense I'm very, 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 very concerned about. So, dude, this one's a tough one, man. This one's a really, really, really tough one here. And, again, this one is a pretty anticipated matchup here. This one I've been anticipating for a while. Oh, man. I don't know. Like, both teams are flawed, obviously. I'm going to go with the Packers here. The only reason why I'm going to go with Green Bay is because that defense looks really good, and the Steelers' O-line's kind of a little meh. So I do think Micah Parsons might be able to get to Rodgers in this game. But, again, Green Bay's offense is a little stagnant. I do think that they need to spread the ball out a little bit more. But it is being played in Heinz Field. But I'm still going to go with Green Bay. I'm going to go with Green Bay. I would like to be wrong, but I do think the Packers are just a little bit of a better team on paper than the Steelers as of right now. But I do think that the Packers might be able to pull off like a last-minute victory out of their ass. But who knows? We'll have to see on Sunday. And then I'm going to make this one short and sweet. Following that, we've got the Monday night game. The Commanders versus the Chiefs. Washington, they're kind of fucked right now. Jane Daniels is hurt. Their offense hasn't really been clicking. Their defense isn't that great. This team is just not doing good. And I knew they were going to have a sophomore slump, but I didn't think it was going to be as rough as it is now. Like, they just couldn't do anything against Dallas, and that's all I really need to say about that. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, they just manhandled the Raiders 31-0. I mean, the stats themselves were just fucking hilarious. But notable responsible driver and class act Rashee Rice is back, so I guess that counts for something. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this team's looking like a Super Bowl contender again. Hooray! I mean, I guess they're looking better than they were last year, because last year they were just suspect as all hell and coming away with some ugly games. So at least they were able to blow out some teams. I guess that counts for something, but yeah, Mahomes is looking like an MVP again. Kelsey is somehow turning back the clock. They finally have an offense again. Their defense looks really good. This should be an easy KC victory. I don't see Washington really putting up much of a fight here. Yeah, I think KC's going to get the victory here. Not much more needs to be said. So, folks, that's going to be it for my predictions for Week 7. Again, I apologize if I have been sounding stuffy. I hope to get that fixed soon, but only time will tell there. So, folks, thank you guys so much for watching this. Who do you think is going to be winning these games? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, tap the big red subscribe button, and tap the bell so when I upload, you guys will be notified. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Most importantly, join the herd. Talk to you guys next video. Peace out.